The popularity of large massive battleships out on the oceans is no longer relevant, and quicker destroyer ships are taking over in modern times. We've also seen a rise of submarine technology over the past 20 years. Researchers are focusing more on electrical systems, radar, and stealth technology, which can lead to some pretty cool looking ships. So today, we're going to take a look at the most advanced destroyers and submarines.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is your host, American Eye, bringing to you another epic video. And before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.
Number 13. The Sovremenny-class destroyer. These Russian destroyers belong to a class that specialize in anti-ship and anti-aircraft capabilities. They're owned by the Russian and the Chinese Navy. Although many have been converted into museum ships, there are still many that are in commission to this day. They've been around since the 1980s, but still provide quite a bit of firepower. They're 511 feet long and are equipped with 130mm naval cannons. On board, there are also anti-ship missiles as well as surface-to-air missiles. Not only that, but there are also anti-submarine tubes which can fire an RB-1000 300mm rocket. 4 active Chinese destroyers have been modernized with new electrical systems and can provide some supersonic missiles as well. Number 12. The US Navy Sea Jet. This photo was taken from a distance so you can see the bizarre shape of the US Sea Jet. It almost looks like some kind of monster. Also known as the Advanced Electric Ship Demonstrator, this vessel measures in at 133 feet or 41 meters and is what's known as a naval test bed for the Navy's Office of Naval Research. This is in active service, but most likely won't see any action anytime soon because it's currently sitting in a lake in Bayview in the northern tip of Idaho. The lake's depth goes about 1,150 feet, making it an excellent place to test out some new subs. Out in this isolated lake, the Navy can test various aspects of new submarine technology, such as propeller noise, new sail designs, and its handling capabilities. Besides the bizarre design, this thing has some serious sub power with an engine packing 3,000 horsepower. Number 11. The Virginia-class submarine. This class of submarine is really in a class of its own. It's expected to remain in service for at least the next 43 years. Each one is crafted carefully, which requires an estimated 9 million labor hours for construction of a single Virginia-class submarine. These are supposed to be America's most advanced series of submarines to this date, and they plan to build another 35 of these. You can imagine that these would be expensive to construct, considering that there's a nuclear reactor on board. There are also several new features that have never been seen before on U.S. submarine classes. This includes new sonar systems, accurate cruise missile firing systems, pump jet propulsor, and also improved gear to save the crew in case it sinks. Many have called it the Ferrari of submarines, and only the best trained submariners will get a chance to ride in it. Cost per submarine, $2.5 billion. Number 10. Virginia-class nuclear cruisers. If you thought nuclear power was only on submarines, you're in for a big surprise. The Virginia-class cruisers utilize nuclear power, which can keep those things on the oceans for long periods of time. With a lot of power on board, these ships can reach high speeds of at least 35 miles an hour and unlimited range. It's equipped with 1 inch of Kevlar plastic armor and features enough missiles to send countries back to the Stone Age. They can fit at least 8 Tomahawk cruise missiles, 8 anti-ship harpoon missiles, and 4 Mk-46 torpedoes for anti-submarine purposes. Although they were extremely advanced, they were very expensive to operate, which was what ultimately doomed them. All 4 of these cruisers were decommissioned during the 1990s, but could certainly be still a relevant ship in modern times. Number 9. Astute-class submarine. The Astute-class submarine is the latest nuclear submarine addition to the Royal Navy. Constructed by BAE Systems, this massive submarine was declared as fully operational as of May 2014. They were made to replace the old Trafalgar-class submarine, and they made plenty of upgrades in order to make them some of the most deadliest fish in the sea. The Astute class has room for 38 weapons, including Spearfish heavy torpedoes and Tomahawk cruise missiles. The main issue, however, is the speed. Not being able to go about 34 miles an hour is kind of a problem. BAE had promised that it could, but the reactor and turbine needed some fine-tuning. Right now, only 3 of these have been constructed, but they're planning on building 7 total. Number 8. The Sachin-class destroyer. One of the latest achievements in destroyer technology, this next class has enhanced stealth features which can totally deceive their opponent. Equipped with multifunctional radar, it specializes in being able to locate other ships who are supposed to be stealthy. It's a little bit smaller than some ships on this list and is technically classified as a frigate. These ships are particularly equipped to play a role against enemy aircraft with a 32-cell Mk-41 Mod 10 vertical launching system. The evolved Sea Sparrows are designed to intercept not only aircraft but also incoming missiles. Number 7. The Borei-class submarine. Another Russian submarine makes our list, and this one is currently in service in their navy. It's classified as a nuclear-powered ballistic missile attack submarine and was constructed by the company known as Sovremenny-class. Despite replacing many of the Soviet Union's older designs, the Borei-class holds less people, a crew of only 107 maximum. The first vessel was constructed in 1996, and changes were made for it to be able to launch various missiles. It can reach a speed of 35 miles an hour underwater and is equipped with 6 533mm torpedo tubes, but that's not all. They also got multiple independent target re-entry vehicles, which contain multiple warheads. Using a cluster of small warheads is capable of more destruction than one large mega warhead. Just in case you didn't know, the Borei class seems to get a lot of bang for its buck in comparison to US submarines. Number 6. Delhi-class destroyers. Let's not forget that India has some pretty good warships, and the Delhi-class destroyers are ready to do some damage when they need to. Inspiration for the design of these ships comes from Sweden and the Soviet Union. Despite the name, the builders of these ships come from Mumbai because Delhi is an inland city and not close enough to the water. It uses a Zorya mash-pulked gas turbine and an Uragan air defense system designed in Russia. The destroyer can also carry plenty of ammunition on board, but that ammunition is also manufactured in Russia. They also have Shatil missiles, which were designed during the Soviet times, but still pretty good and cost-effective when it comes down to it. They only cost about $350 million each, and compared to some of our destroyers, which basically do the same thing, but cost $700 million less. The destroyers are also properly prepared for the apocalypse, and are nuclear, chemical, and biohazard resistant, hopefully. Number 5. The Zumwalt class destroyer. In case you were wondering what the future of destroyer ships looks like, here it is. Mainly designed for naval gun support, it's been equipped with anti-aircraft weaponry and all kinds of long-range attack projectiles and more. It's armed to the teeth and looking pretty sleek while doing it. It's equal to the size of 3 USS Constitutions, stores a massive amount of electrical power, which control a large amount of computers. It also controls the ship's propulsion and combat systems. Some feel as though the Navy is going to be more and more difficult to join in the upcoming years due to how few sailors will be needed in these super ships. Ships during the Second Global Conflict needed 10 times as many men to board the ships, which is clearly a huge difference. It's prided on its accuracy to attack inland targets as well as over 60 miles away. It's prided on its accuracy to attack inland targets that are about 60 miles away. Number 4. Atago-class destroyer. One of the most expensive destroyers on this list comes from Japan with a price tag of roughly $1.5 billion each. Only 2 of these were ever built between 2004 and 2008. They're supposed to be an upgraded version of the Kongo class destroyers, which had their origins dating back to Imperial Japan. One of the main upgrades was the helicopter port, which is able to carry an SH-60K helicopter. Japan's Navy is mainly for defensive purposes or whenever the US decides it's time to go on the offensive. Its main armament is an Mk-45 Mod 4 naval gun, which has a stealth-shaped mount. It can also carry various missiles and torpedoes to combat enemy submarine systems. Number 3. The Type 45 destroyer. The British Navy has been one of their key advantages if they are to engage in warfare with a powerful country. The highly advanced Type 45 would certainly be a reason. One of its main focuses is on anti-aircraft warfare with advanced radar and surface-to-air missiles. The Type 45 has earned a reputation as being one of the best air defense destroyers in the world. With its radar, it's also suited to hunt down enemy submarines with harpoon missiles. There's really a missile or torpedo on this thing for every reason imaginable. And it doesn't end there. It has the ability to launch Tomahawk cruise missiles on strategic land targets if it so desires. Needless to say, this is a lethal destruction bringer and can fire more than a few in a minute. Here in this photo, we see the HMS Diamond launch a guided cruise missile. There's currently 6 of these in deployment, and the UK will consider making more after some possible upgrades. There are apparently only some minor problems functioning in warm climates due to the intercooler having some issues. In the future, Base Systems is also considering something known as the UXV Combatant. This would play a role as a mothership for air and land vehicles that we see here. It would technically be a modified version of the Type 45. Number 2. Typhoon class submarine. The Typhoon is the biggest active submarine and can displace 48,000 tons of water. It measures 175 meters long or 574 feet. While other subs may have to worry about running out of fuel at some point in time, crew members can stay on board for 120 days at a time comfortably. This thing can literally go years without refueling. It's also designed to travel under ice and can literally break the ice above them. It carries 20 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and all of them are carrying some kind of nuclear warhead. If that didn't seem like enough firepower to you, it also has 4 torpedo tubes with a total of 22 anti-submarine missiles. These tubes can also be used to launch mines. We need to try our best not to get in a fight with Russia. They take their submarines over there very seriously. Number 1. Arleigh Burke class destroyer. Equipped with the Aegis combat system, the Arleigh Burke class destroyers are manufactured to use powerful radar and computers to track and destroy enemy ships. They have the ability to attack land targets with Tomahawk missiles with its vertical launching systems. They measure about 505 feet long and have been in service since the late 1980s. Capable of reaching speeds of 35 miles an hour, the design incorporates stealth techniques with a more angular design. Even though they were produced in the 1980s, the modernization efforts of these destroyers was rather successful. BAE Systems was given a contract to upgrade this class, which has made the price tag go up quite considerably. Each one is in the range of $1 billion.